Diane and Derek here. Hooray! It is Monday morning, and you know me, I love Monday mornings because it means a fresh start. Last week was kind of heavy, but I've got a feeling it's going to be a really good week. And I hope you are dressed to shoes and ready to come with me, because I'm taking you on a little tour today where we're going to go on a little tour of my kitchen, because I get a lot of questions about where do I store things, the design of the kitchen. So I'll give you a quick tour and you can get to see what I've got hidden in my drawers. But first of all, just a quick check-in to say that it is Monday. We're in Flylady Zone 2, and you know that's what I love about the Flylady systems, that we always get to kind of keep moving forward slowly and gently. We're in Zone 2, and I've got my list of things for cleaning, decluttering in this area. I've put my lists on my blog dianedenmark.com just for your inspiration. You can make your own list, you can print off what I've got. And also in there I have, with your help, come up with some lists of things to do in the zone. Now, you know, I like to shop by zone, so in kitchen zone there are things you might like to stock up on. Also gardening by zone, using the idea of kitchen, what can you do in the gardens. I've got lists there, excuse me. And also, most important, self-preservation and some ideas of what you can do when we're in a kitchen zone. And it just keeps things nice and fresh for us. And I've already started my list for this week. So there's my list. Anyway, I'll explain that another time. As I said, I wanted to give you a little look in the kitchen. And I think what we'll do is we'll start over in that corner where you have, can you see that? That's where we sit. Hold on, let me just move around. Where we sit and have our breakfast, our lunch, our dinner. And what you probably don't see immediately is that we've got kitchen drawers. The bench is actually just a piece of worktop, and I've got a lot of storage there. So anyway, if you come over, I'll show you what I've got in my drawers. And on this side of the room, I keep things which I don't need access to a lot. But as you can see, it's just the same as the table and as the kitchen worktops. But we have a lot of storage here, and I'll show you how it is. And this is one of the things that I'm going to do this week for my kitchen zone thing, is to take this is a cover that I made in some pillowcases. I'm going to wash these this week. So anyway, let's open up, and you can see now. We start off, I pull out the drawer, and there's actually an extra drawer there, and then this one. And down at the bottom, it's not skirting boards, it's actually storage right down to the ground. So anyway, let me take it from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. And what I have over here are things that I don't use a lot, but I have things, some curry sauces, we really like these Swedish ones, and some sweet tin stuff. And what I usually do, I really like using just any kind of old boxes, shoe boxes or things like that, to keep things together. It stops things rolling around, and it makes it much easier when you want to, you know, clean your drawers and things. You'll see that in a minute, the other boxes that I've got. Underneath here I have baking supplies, so everything is ready if, you know, we want to make brownies. We've got the baking powder, all those kind of things, vanilla, and dried things, and also things like, you know, my whisk, whatever. I've got all the bits together. And by keeping them in boxes, it makes it really easy to put things away. And then, right, if we go down to the bottom of this one, here I have different Tupperware containers, some noodles that we use if we're making ramen. That's normally when my son cooks. And also this old plastic box no longer has a lid, but it's really useful for storing the lids. So that's how I keep everything together. And in here, these are just all little things that sometimes I keep small bottles for putting milk or whatever in this, if we're on a picnic, and items that I'm not sure if we'll keep. But you see, I'm just using any old boxes to kind of contain them. And then if we go over to the second one, see, I've got a lot of storage here. Right, if I open it up, this is actually an overflow of breakfast items, including things like the chocolate breakfast slices that you saw the other day, and some snack items. We don't use them very often. Oh, this is one of mine. This is just like kappa soup. It's a Swedish one, and it's fruit, hot fruit, so that's quite nice when it's cold in the winter. But I'm actually going to see if I've got any more boxes around the house that I can use for this area. But you see how easy it is to move things around. And then up here we have got some seasonal things like, of course, hot water bottles, hand warmers, and my mandolin, my julienne. This is really old, as you can see by the box. And also a really old folder with some family recipes. And then right down on the bottom of this one, baking supplies. Obviously not something that we're needing a lot. And whenever I use baking tins, or baking cookies, I never put them straight into the tin. So the tin, I don't know how many years I've had this tin, but I always use baking paper in it. Starting in this corner beside the coffee and tea machine, pull this one out here. And I won't go too far into this one because I've got private stuff. But again, I just use old boxes that come into the house to let me see if I can say this, compartmentalize different things, keeps all my charges together. And here I put in any kind of magazines or ideas for dinner, and then from time to time I'll go through the papers and see what I want to file or what I want to keep. Tea and coffee, just the basic, and I think I'm going to be working on this one this week. I'll see if there's anything that can go, and I have and I like to have them labelled because then it's really easy when you go into the drawer to see what's what. This is our breakfast drawer with chocolate paw egg, the chocolate slices there. Also the toaster. Now that toaster we've had since my husband and I got married. It was a wedding gift in 1998, still going strong. And also in here we've got any of the breakfast things, like we eat a lot of oats. And I've also got things like cocoa nibs and chia seeds in there, raisins, and also some snack items like rice cakes. Oh, and here's another example. This was actually a tea caddy. Whenever we buy a lot of this tea, and I find it really useful for storing our fruit bars. So that's that in there. And then if we go right down to the bottom, here we are. This is thermos flasks, things for having my picnic lunch or picnic breakfast. And then moving on to the next one. Here we go again. I've got spices. You've seen that one before. Then I've got all my pots and pans. I've got some really big pots and pans, huge ones, but I keep those downstairs because these are the ones that I'm using on an everyday basis. And this is where I keep all my dried goods, the stuff that I'm cooking with on a daily basis. And again, you can see, if I pull out this one, that I use the space, I maximize the space and use it coming all the way up. So instead of just having like one or two rows of cans, I can really get a lot into a small space. And here I've got things like stock cubes, those are all together there. Rice, pasta, all our different things like lentils. And then, so that's basically the food. And then down here, that's where the kids have their sweet drawer, and it's up to them to keep that kind of tidy. Apart from that, those are mine. Right, moving on to the next one. We've got the sink. And underneath the sink, I have rubbish, recycling, and then in this one I keep some cleaning items, dishwasher tabs, my rubber gloves and a cloth, so that's where that kind of lives. And then right down the bottom I have, this is basically for the kids, it's their packed lunch items, but obviously we've been on lockdown so they haven't been at school. But my daughter quite likes these little bags that you can use for snacks, and this can actually go in the dishwasher, so those are quite good to cut down on the amount of packaging. Right, on to the next one. Hold on. Dishwasher, which I've just run. Obviously there's nothing underneath that because the dishwasher takes up the whole space. Next one, so you can see where we are here. In this one I have all the things that I use on a daily basis for making food. And I keep it, this was a Marie Kondo idea. Instead of having it all done into separate compartments, which actually takes up quite a lot of space, you have it in large items and smaller items. And I know as soon as I go into the drawer, and I can see in my head what I'm looking for. So it may look like a jumble to you, but actually for me it's quite easy. And right at the back, I've got things that I don't use so often. And you'll probably see there that our kitchen drawers are a good 10 centimetres deeper than a general drawer, because this is an insert that I've bought from IKEA. And you can see it stops there. So we've got actually very wide units. Do you see that? Then we have cups, all the different cups. And the other ones are in the dishwasher. And that's why we have them here, because then it's easy to unload the dishwasher and put those things away. Bowls and things like that. And let's go down. And this is where we keep the biscuit tin and some crisps and things. But I want to work on that this week because that's not really working. So that will be a declutter area. And the final one you can see here is cutlery. And we have our plates, all the plates that we use. The ones that we use for guests, those you'll have seen those before in the dining room. All the different bowls and things that I use for cooking food, and I keep them just, you know, by shape, whether rectangular or circular. And right down at the very bottom are my tea towels. I've also got oven gloves, my extra apron, and I keep some extra cleaning things. And once again, you can see I just use an old box to keep it together, and that way, you know, if you're changing things around or want to clean it out, it's much simpler. I've got one more piece of storage, which is underneath the oven. And in here, this is where I keep everything that we're using, any kind of paper goods. We've got baking paper, cling film, the bags from IKEA, and I reuse them as much as possible. I just give them a quick wash out and use them again. But you can see there that this is an old box. I don't even know where that came from, but it just makes it really easy to contain stuff, so it's not kind of, you know, moving around the whole time. Instructions for the oven, and things like chopsticks, the chopsticks that we got when we were in Kyoto with our names on them, and just bits and bobs. So I hope you enjoyed having a wee delve into my drawers today. What about your kitchen? Do you have one of those kitchens where you have you know, floor to ceiling storage, where you have to, you know, go up a ladder to get things, or are you like us? Our kitchen is Pog and Pole. It's a German brand, and it was a conscious decision on our part not to get the overhanging cabinets, because we like it very light and airy in Scandinavia. So that was a decision from us. But think about that when we're in the zone this week. I'm going to set my timer and do a wee bit of cleaning, get a few things knocked off. But have a think about it. Is your kitchen working for you? And as I said to you, I change things up. The kids are getting older. We're no longer decorating lots of cakes, so I've moved that stuff to a different area, which is less accessible, and moved other stuff and made it more accessible. So just have a wee think. If something's not working for you, go ahead and see if you can change it. And especially try and, you know, just use whatever old boxes that you've got. It really makes it easy to keep things together. And once you start putting things together, you will see how much you have and how much you actually need. So anyway, I'm going to knock off a few things off my list. And I'm going to send you on your merry way with a pom-pom salute. And you can give me a pom-pom salute, or at least you can do the thumbs up thing on YouTube. I think they need a pom-pom button. So anyway, live long and prosper. May the Danish, light and airy Scandinavian hygge be with you. And I shall see you very soon. Okay, ra, ra, ra.